Welcome to Speak Text. Today I'm bringing you this watch, which I believe stands out among all sports watches, whether it's in terms of design aesthetics, ball wearing comfort, or popularity. There is no other similar switching table that can compare with it. As a thinner sports watch, designed by Master Genta, it is loved by both men and women. Today's main character is the Patek Philippe AQUANAUT Series 5167 A001, and I'll be providing a detailed comparison and review of it. Here we have two watches in front of us as of October 2024. One is the mass-produced 3K version, and the other is the deeply modified and upgraded custom version. Let's temporarily call it the CW version. Remember to follow us. I hope today's review can provide you with the latest information about the 5167 and help you make a better choice. First of all, the 3K version has undergone a long period of iterative upgrades and has achieved significant influence internationally. However, for players who demand perfection, I believe there are still some shortcomings that they cannot accept. So, we've upgraded to address these shortcomings, allowing everyone to have a better consumer experience. First of all, the most obvious difference is in the dial. The unique black dial of the CW version has a radiating pattern that transitions very smoothly, with a strong contrast between light and dark, and a more refined brushed texture. In comparison, 3K is greyish overall, radiating to the edges and showing a slightly yellowish luster. And the light and dark transition surface has an obvious sense of cutting. There is no obvious difference in the font printing of the two. Both are relatively three-dimensional, wing, and full. However, in terms of the rectangular nail scale, the CW version is fuller and more three-dimensional. At the same angle, when the number is 3K, the luminous powder of the mark is yellower than that of the pointer. The CW version is relatively unified as a whole, from which we can feel that the CW version is more consistent with the original version. The trapezoidal window, CW version of Hitachi window, has more layers, and its width and depth are more obvious compared to 3K. The difference in the calendar font is even more obvious. The CW version is bold, full, and three-dimensional, while the 3K version is relatively thin and small. As for the pointer, from the front, the 3K version is more obvious white than the 4W. The Axis 3K is also larger and rougher and has slight deformations. Secondly, the roughness on the side of the hands is also more pronounced on the 3K version. As for the materials used for the caisson strap and buckle, both versions use the same materials as the original, and upon careful comparison, there are no significant differences. The total weight of the 5167 watch is around 91 grams, with a diameter of 40 millimeters and a thickness of 8.1 millimeters. So in terms of external dimensions, they are completely consistent. The CW version uses a custom case made with CNC technology, which is better suited to the internal structure of the original 330 machine. Aside from that, there are no significant differences between the CW and 3K in terms of the thickness of the crystal, the brushed texture, or the engraving, such as the polishing and grinding of the corners of the case, as well as the variations in width and the height of the crystal at different positions on the case, showcasing the layering of various techniques. The three-dimensionality of the crown logo and the gaps between the case after the crown is tightened. Are these subtle details? No obvious issues were found. 2 layers of coverage, whether it is the circular brushed process on the front, the polished texture of the side facade, and the fine matte texture of the 6 square grooves on the back cover. It has also been very well presented. The strap is made of natural rubber, and with its special craftsmanship, it not only provides excellent support among many high-end watches, but its softness, snug fit, and color retention are also quite remarkable. Has been praised by many watch enthusiasts. The new label on the dial is actually from Tarajugua. After closing the clasp, the alignment along the center line is basically consistent and there won't be any misalignment. In fact, the entire logo imprint is very full, and the fine sandblasting technique inside has no issues at all. After the buckle is opened, the engraving inside is relatively bold and deep. One thing worth mentioning here is that the connection method between the buckle and the strap is a very traditional press-type fixing method. The strap length can only be adjusted through cutting, and the form and texture are consistent with the original. Finally, let's look at the movement part that everyone is more concerned about. First, let me show you a set of comparison pictures of the 324 movement for your reference. There are some details of the 3K, our CW version and the original version. Interested friends can pause the screen to observe more. Here is another question. The 324 model and the 330 model are mainly different in some of the engravings, and the shape of the automatic light is different. In other aspects, there is no difference between the two. So today we will use the 324 movement, a classic old brand. Let me give you a detailed explanation. First, let's take a look at the CW version of the movement plate, which is based on the 3K movement, but has removed all the plates and jewels from the back. The plate is modeled in 3D using German silver with a 5-axis CC gold standard. The CW version of the plate. The Geneva lines are clearly visible. The lines are polished by hand in Switzerland, without missing any subtle details, and the brightness is better. The brushed finish is finer than the 3K, providing a superior texture that completely replicates the original GA's field. Liu Jinke is deep and clear, and when compared to the 3K, the difference is like night and day. Compared to the original engraving, the size, depth, and overall essence are extremely similar, no longer resembling the printed font of the 3K. The CW version uses higher quality rubies, which provide better protection for the gears. The font has a longer lifespan and greater stability. The CW version of the automatic rotor has a finer brushed finish and the patterns are clearer, especially the Calatrava cross logo. The engraving is deep and curved, and it is more three-dimensional and brighter than 3K. The reason why the CW version is the most cost-effective modified movement, the focus is on enhancing the quality of the movement while keeping the price lower, making it more suitable for entry-level users. Improvisational modifications to the CW version of the model, whether it is changing the weight adjustment or adding an 18K gold automatic lock, or maybe changing the engravings on the plate. These are all common practices in the market. After careful comparison, we can clearly feel the difference in the thickness, depth, and texture of the entire fuselage. Maybe some players don't care much about this improvement, but we hope to give everyone a better choice. I hope that all watch enthusiasts can gradually develop the ability to distinguish between genuine and fake watches by watching our videos. At the same time, I hope it enhances their ability to notice subtle differences and helps them understand the feel of the watches, which will also improve their observational skills. When it comes to the luminous effect, we rarely see any significant differences, which also indicates that the technical threshold for replicating the luminous effect is really not that high. So you really don't need to worry about this. Although the market for the original version has been declining continuously, its high price still puts it out of reach for many watch enthusiasts. The price of the 3K won't put any pressure on many friends. So I believe that the detail improvements in the CW version are something a lot of people would be happy to see. I still hope that friends who love the original version can keep their eyes wide open. To avoid being deceived, feel free to follow SpaceX. And if you have more questions, you can leave a comment in the section below. We'll provide you with more help and guidance. See you next time.